While Google and a variety of sources list a completely different birth year for her, Catherine Ellen Soucie, sometimes going by Kathy, spelled with an I, and sometimes Kathy, spelled with a Y, but commonly referred to as Kath, was really born on November 18, 1953. Why some sources have listed her date of birth as February 20, 1967, has become one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in pop culture history, but some speculate that the much younger birthday is most likely used to guarantee her plenty of job security, a common practice for many entertainers in Hollywood, who wish to keep work and income flowing, and a need for privacy. Others have speculated that the younger birthday may be due to misinformation being spread around the internet, or confusion involving her and the date of birth of fellow Futurama cast member David Herman, whose birthday just so happens to be February 20, 1967. However, her mannerisms and etiquette, coupled with her penchant for donning relatively conservative attire, suggest that she is more of a baby boomer than of Generation X. Soucie's story was featured in a chapter of the Tim Lawson and Elisa Persons book, The Magic Behind the Voices, a who's who of cartoon voice actors, detailing her rise to fame and any struggles in between. 7 years later, she was featured in a section of the Thomas S. Hishak book Disney Voice Actors, giving an entirely different narrative, by listing her birth year as 1967, completely omitting her early life and on-camera career in the 1970s and 80s. Curiously, the book claims that she began her voice acting career in 1981 with the Smurfs, hypothetically making her 14 years old, despite the fact that she did not get into cartoon voiceover work until 1986, when she was well into her 30s, and had not done voices for the Smurfs until much later in the series. On January 20, 2023, a Facebook post was made by voice actress Cheryl Chase, wishing her Rugrats co-star a happy birthday that day, very strangely not divulging her age, or the year that she was born. This confused some of her fans, including one who claimed that November 18, 1953, was her real birthday, and even had evidence from public records, which may have caused Chase to edit her post soon after. On November 18, 2023, Soucie reached a milestone, when she turned 70 years old, though many people at the time continued to believe she was 56, despite her real 56th birthday being in 2009. Those same people also still believe to this day that she was born in 1967, based solely on Google searches of her, despite the multi-billion-dollar search engine not being a real source of information. Around that same time, Soucie became the subject of great obsession with one fan, with the publication of his article, 2/2067 or 11/1853, on sites like RetroDays and Reddit, detailing the controversies about her real age and date of birth, and most of the public's perception of her. The author also claimed to have liked her professionally, since he was about 7 or 8 years old in the early 90s, but had mysteriously sparked what he called a much deeper and more renewed interest in her in late 2020, months prior to the releases of the Rugrats reboot and Space Jam sequel. Despite various photos used to corroborate certain claims in support of the 11/1853 birth date, some internet users lambasted the article as nothing more than petty gossip and misinformation. Following the release of a documentary of the same name on YouTube, voice actor Bob Bergen, who has worked with Soucie on various Looney Tunes projects, as well as the Santa Claus sequels, ridiculed it by claiming the video to be the worst that is social media/cancel culture, comparing it to an e-version of Roman gladiators, taking joy in someone's pain, after he received a link on Twitter to view the video. He also stated that the focus of Soucie's age and roots are completely irrelevant to her tremendous talent and success, a point addressed at the video's conclusion, and ironically overlooked by some viewers. However, regardless of its original intentions, the release of the documentary may have had some deeply profound and prophetic effects on the public's perception of celebrity age. On August 10, 2024, voice actress Rachel Lillis, who played Pokémon characters Misty, Jessie, and Jigglypuff, in the English dub of the anime, passed away after a long battle with breast cancer. In the preliminary reports of the story, the mainstream press had given conflicting details on her date of birth, specifically the year in which she was born. While they all came to the consensus of July 8 being her birthday, some sources claimed that she died at the age of 46, while others claimed that she died at the age of 55. Soon after, it was verified by the New York Times through one of her sisters, that Lilith was in fact 55 years old at the time of her death, and that 1969 was her real birth year. While the concept of age fabrication is as old as Hollywood itself, and is still used to this day by certain entertainers, to help boost their careers, it is unclear whether Lilith had ever lied about her age either at her own volition, or at the behest of an agent or manager, or if her age was always an understatement, or misconception. The Rachel Lillis death story, coupled with the 2/2067 or 11/1853 article and documentary, may have also fueled the fire of certain people's suspicions of various other cartoon voice actors in the industry, with controversial ages. In September 2024, old yearbook photos of actress Julie Brown were leaked online, showing her as a senior at Van Nuys High School in the 1971-1972 school year. Prior to their discovery, many sources were split on her age, with some claiming that she was born in 1954, and others claiming that she was born in 1958, but all coming to the concurrence that August 31st was the day she was born. Like Soucie, Brown's yearbooks are more consistent with the older birth year theory, which would have made her 17, at the time of her graduation in 1972, and hence turning 70, on August 31, 2024. Coincidentally, a second Julie Brown attended Van Nuys High in the 70s, with her birth year being either 1958 or 1959. While only the 1976 yearbook from her junior year can be found online, the photo of that particular Julie Brown varies widely from the older one, in terms of facial features. It is unknown whether the actress Julie Brown ever lied about her age, to help gain better access to show business, and keep up with Hollywood's obsession with youth and beauty, but the tale of the two Julie Browns may have inadvertently caused many people's misconceptions about her real age. In October 2024, a user on Twitter messaged the actress to verify the alleged high school images for authenticity. While most people have been very quick to confirm or deny the existence of such photos when confronted with the situation, Brown very suspiciously asked the user to delete them, due to the high probability of a crazy ex getting set off by them, with whom she wanted no contact, and her uneasiness with other people's knowledge of her graduating from high school in that particular year.